Why is it that really capable, intelligent people are more likely to suffer from imposter syndrome? I'm Emilie West, I'm a career coach, and I'm here to help you achieve more success with less stress. I coach a lot of very intelligent and capable people. And you would think because they're so good at their jobs that they're naturally super confident. But actually what we see is this paradox that people who are very capable are often the hardest on themselves. So why is it if you're smart and capable that you're more likely to have imposter syndrome, and what can you do about it? Well, imposter syndrome is really about feeling like you're not good enough to do the job, that maybe people will spot that you're not capable enough, and you're constantly worried about being found out. So this creates anxiety and self-doubt and self-criticism, and clients will often hold themselves back in their careers as a result of that. But why, if they're so capable and smart, do they experience this? Well, really smart, capable people often judge themselves against the top standard for something. Even if they're doing it for the first time or they're very early on in their experience with something, they will look around themselves and look at their colleagues and peers and see who's doing this at the top level, and they will judge themselves against that top level. I see it all the time with my clients that I help with public speaking. They're already pretty good public speakers, but they're judging themselves against professional speakers and feeling like they're failing. So one of the first reasons is just holding yourself to unreasonably high standards. Now, it's great to aim high and look at how you can improve, but that's different from deciding that you're not good enough because on day one you don't meet that top standard. Another reason is that intelligent and capable people tend to get promoted and promoted and promoted. So every time they get comfortable with the job and feel like they're doing a good job, they get moved up a level and suddenly they're straight into that feeling again that they don't really know what they're doing. So that's pretty challenging and stress-inducing and can make them have a bit of a knockback in their confidence. And each time they go up a level, they're holding themselves to that higher standard. Now, another reason this gets worse as you get more senior is a fear of judgment by other people. So something else I see with my very capable clients is they are often very concerned with what other people think about them. There are people out there who are very happy to coast and do quite an average job, and they don't really care what their colleagues and managers think about them. But my clients are really trying to progress and hold themselves to a high standard, so they do worry what their peers or their colleagues or their team members or their boss thinks about them. So as they get more senior, their expectations for themselves go up, but also they then think, well, the people around me will have higher expectations. I definitely experienced this when I was made head of department at 32. I was very young to hold that position. And I was suddenly very conscious that everyone in that department was looking at me and expecting me to behave like a head of department and be capable of that role. So suddenly that fear of judgment was 100 times worse than the job I'd had before, where I was just managing 6 people, and those 6 people didn't have as high expectations of me. So as we get more senior, that fear of judgment from other people can really kick in. So if you're getting more senior and you're starting to feel that, that is why. So what can we do about this? Because it doesn't help us to have anxiety and fear. Actually, we'll do a better job if we have more confidence. So one of the ways we can build that confidence is by doing a little feedback review on ourselves. And as well as critiquing ourselves and thinking what we didn't do well, regularly asking ourselves what we did do well and writing it down. There's something about writing your thoughts out with a pen on a piece of paper that can rewire your neural pathways. So if you're constantly criticizing yourself internally, every day I want you to sit down with a pen and paper and write down all the things that you did well that day. We can also call this right-sizing, which is right-sizing your expectations. So you might think about something that you felt didn't go well that day and write down what your expectation was of how you were going to perform. And then I want you to right-size it, which means write down what a realistic expectation would have been. Again, with the example of public speaking, my client's ambition is to deliver a perfect speech without missing a word or saying an or looking or sounding nervous. That's a very high standard. A right-size standard might be that they just communicated their 3 key points to the audience and the audience could understand them. And they always can achieve that right-sized expectation. So write down things you're doing well, resize or reset your expectations and make sure that they're at the right level for your level of competence. But the final thing that can really help build that confidence is actually to improve your skills. One of the ways imposter syndrome can help us is it does mean it pushes us to try harder. So if you feel like, oh, I don't deserve this job or I'm not good enough to do X, Y, Z, don't just sit there worrying about it. Make a list of 3 different things that you could learn or do that would make you more capable at this part of your job. So for example, if you've now become a leader but you don't feel confident presenting in front of bigger teams, you might actually proactively go and get some speaking training so that you're much more capable at it. If you've been given a more technical role to do and it's something you're not as experienced in as you'd like to be, or you just got a new job and you blagged your way through the interview, but now you're there, you don't have all the technical skills, don't panic about it. Set aside some time on the weekend to do some reading, watch some YouTube videos, do some Udemy courses, but take the time to upskill yourself. As we build our capability, our confidence grows. So do make time to build that capability. I hope that video has maybe helped you understand why you have your imposter syndrome and some of the things that you can do about it. We'll also share in the notes a link to a recent course that I did with Julia Waters on how to build your confidence through taking action.